Amazon has gained full creative control over James Bond. Captain America 4 has a massive box office drop. We got our first look at Matt Damon as Odysseus in the Odyssey. Marvel is looking for their new Wolverine actor. Dwayne Johnson will lead Martin Scorsese's next film. And we have huge Dune Messiah news. Let's break down this week's fully packed movie news.
What is up, movie friends? Welcome back to Raiders of the Lost podcast, the ultimate film and TV podcast. And this is the weekly episode where we go through all of the industry news so you don't have to. Everything that's happening in the world of film and TV is in this episode. You do not have to browse the internet. You don't even have to watch the trailers because we did it all for you. So sit back, relax, and learn about what's happening in the film world. James, take it away with the box office.
So box office, we all kind of predicted this. Captain America Brave New World had a massive drop. It fell down 68% from its opening weekend last week. It pulled $28 million at the domestic box office. But even worse, it earned only $7.2 million this past Friday, which was an 82% drop from last week's Friday. So not good news from Marvel and MCU with the Captain America Brave New World.
And you can compare it to Ant-Man and the Wasp. Quantumania dropped 70% its second weekend, so it's just in line with that drop.
Not great news. The Monkey, Osgood Perkins' new horror film, just opened to $14 million domestic. It's the second debut from Neon. It's getting pretty good reviews. Keep seeing mixed stuff like 60, 70% Rotten Tomatoes. Pretty good scores on Letterboxd.
Huge for Neon, though.
Yeah.
Second best debut in an opening weekend. And I think this can easily hit 50 million domestic, which is gigantic for a small studio. So good news for them. It looks like a lot of fun. We love Stephen King.
We're going to check it out. And next week, we're doing an episode on best horror of 2025 so far. And we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about Companion, a couple of other horror films that have come out this year.
Paddington in Peru.
Paddington in Peru, which just is in third place at $6 million in its second week at the domestic box office. Dogman, $5 million. And then Niza 2, $3 million at the domestic box office. So pretty okay weekend.
Yeah.
It's still February. Not a ton of movies coming out. Low box office turnouts. But, some movies are still doing pretty well.
Now, let's get into the top stories. There's a huge amount of gigantic news stories that happened to drop this past week.
This is the biggest week of movie news that I can remember in a while.
There's a lot to go over, but I think the biggest news story has got to be James Bond. Now, news just came out that Amazon, which was in contention with Barbara Broccoli and Wilson, the other producer, and MGM about the creative control of the franchise and the future of the IP for James Bond. It has just been announced that Amazon will now be in charge of the iconic IP with plans to make several spin-off TV shows and films from all of the characters. Both producers Broccoli and Wilson will remain co-owners of the IP, but will not be involved in the production of future films and TV shows and will focus on new ventures. Wilson said that he's going to retire and become a philanthropist, and Barbara Broccoli said she'll start producing different kinds of films, so she'll still be in the industry, but not making James Bond films. And on top of that, it's reported that Amazon spent $1 billion to get this control of the James Bond IP. And Jeff Bezos is now asking audiences who they want to play the next James Bond after Amazon got creative control. I think it's on a Twitter post. I mean, that's an interesting way to do it. I think it will be about the same kind of names that people were throwing out the last several weeks.
Henry Cavill.
Yeah, several months. It is also interesting. Reports about Aaron Taylor-Johnson meeting for James Bond were confirmed by Barbara Broccoli, who said she did meet with a few actors, including Aaron Taylor-Johnson, about the role and taking on the iconic legendary persona of James Bond for future films. That's up in the air. And she said that Amazon basically sat down with them and were like, okay, what have you worked on so far? What do you got cooking for what you wanted to do? Throw us everything that you have, and we'll take it and run from there. Is basically kind of what happened.
This is, honestly, for us, not great news. As lovers of James Bond, the franchise, the prestige that it has, the acclaim, and a lot of people were asking, we did a couple of posts, asked, why is this bad news? It's bad news because Amazon's just going to milk it for all it's worth. They're going to dilute the quality of the franchise. They're going to dilute the name of James Bond. We're going to have spin-offs. We're going to have prequels. We're going to have origin stories. Every character is going to get a spin-off. We're going to have so many TV series, so many movies. We already had that reality TV show last year that Anthony and I were just saying this is the beginning. It was inevitable that Amazon would finally get fully controlled after buying MGM. And it seems like they were just waiting out the Broccoli family. And $1 billion is a lot of money. It's a lot of money not to turn down. And for Barbara, it seems like, if she probably got half of that, I'll start a production company. I already have a lot of money, but this is a great way to get my producing career going outside of James Bond. I got $500 million in the bank. I can pretty much do whatever I want for film. I get that, but at the same time, it's just going to take away the prestige of James Bond. James Bond's meant only for cinemas, but now we're just going to have so many TV shows. We're going to probably have Skyfall origin show, like Skyfall teenage
All the
James
villains.
Bond.
Imagine villains.
James Bond is an orphan.
Blofeld origins.
It's going to be nuts.
Yeah, Goldfinger origins. And also, I expect them to make not just 007 content, but 001. Who's 006? Who's 004? I've never cared who the other 00s are. And I never wanted to see what another 00, because there's only 007 for me as an audience member, and for, I'm sure, everybody who grew up loving James Bond all over the world. You don't really care who 005 is. That's not interesting. What's interesting is James Bond. He's what the IP is, and we are going to see over the next several years an onslaught of productions that I think are just nobody's going to like. It's going to be a very small number of people are going to be loving it, but we're talking about a minute percentage of the population, and then huge swaths of people will probably not even tune in. And then people will be curious about some things at first, give it a shot, probably be turned off, similar to what happened with Rings of Power. So I don't see this as a good sign at all, and I'm not looking forward to it. Like you said, I'm in complete agreement with you. James Bond should be independent and also on the big screen.
I guarantee, I'm calling, the first TV show will be an M origin story.
Oh, my God.
M origin story. Calling it.
Here we go.
But we had some really cool news.
Yes.
So similar to when Oppenheimer was in pre-production, the first image that was released was a screen test of Cillian Murphy in character in wardrobe. It was very famous, that photo of him looking down lens. It was pretty much the only thing we saw for several months. Similar thing here. We have our first look at Matt Damon as Odysseus. First image of the movie The Odyssey revealed from Christopher Nolan's film. Most likely another screen test. Great look at his wardrobe, his armor, his helmet. He's sort of just like turned away from the camera, looking to his right.
His triceps are bulging.
Yeah, I wonder how long this will be the only image released. I would bet for a while.
Yeah.
They start filming pretty much this week. You know, a lot of the cast and crew are already there in Morocco. They've been building sets all over the place, all over Morocco, all over Italy. So I believe they start filming this week, which is so exciting. You know, we have one of the greatest stories ever told in the history of humanity being told by one of the premier, most influential filmmakers of the century. And I can't think of better luck and fortune we have as movie fans and movie lovers and just humans in general to be able to experience this movie once it comes out. So I'm ecstatic. I'm ecstatic.
That was a great build-up. I love it. They should hire you to write the copy for this marketing campaign.
Well, it's sick when you go on the IMDb. It's like, who are the writers? Homer and Christopher Nolan. It's cool.
Great. That's great. And I think that just Holland and Damon's roles. I mean, I think we have a feeling Tom Holland will play Odysseus' son, Telemachus. Telemachus. Something like that.
I believe it's Telemachus.
So, and I'm guessing Charlize Theron will play Odysseus' wife. That's my guess.
Odious?
Odysseus' wife. Odious. You know Odious.
We have no idea.
Guess. That's my guess.
I don't know. I have no idea, but we do know that Matt's Odysseus. That's the one thing we know. We have confirmation of. Holland could be a character that Chris Nolan created.
Could be.
It's possible.
Could be.
He might be his like right-hand man.
The protagonist.
He might just be like part of his crew, part of the ship.
Next up, there are reports, and I mean, this is no surprise to anyone, that Marvel has begun looking for their next Wolverine. Hugh Jackman, I don't think, needs to reprise the role. He's defined the role. He's done enough. I think he's officially retired now. Now, this is going to be a huge role to fill. Gigantic shoes. Hopefully, they find someone to fit into them. But Hugh Jackman will cast a shadow over whoever is cast, but I think this is going to be, I mean, if you're a young actor in Hollywood, I mean, this is going to be one of the most interesting roles you could take.
The most exciting thing, for sure.
Yeah, it's a very interesting character. Hugh did so much with it, but it's still ripe for material to mine from with a different take on it. And it's one of the rare comic book characters that has only had one depiction, except for, obviously, the Deadpool sequence. But in a film, only one guy's done it. So it will be fun to see someone else take the claws.
It has to be someone very talented, and they have to do something different than what Hugh did, I think. Taking it in a different direction, maybe even more into the chaos and rage aspect of it. I don't know. But whoever it is, they have massive boots to fill because he's the only guy who's played that character, which is really cool.
Yeah. Next up, go for it.
Pretty crazy news. Dwayne Johnson's going to star in Martin Scorsese's next film. This is a fact-based, untitled movie said to be in the mold of Scorsese's Goodfellas and The Departed, and centers on a mob boss vying for control of the Hawaiian Islands. In the 1960s, 70s, it's been pitched around Hollywood with all three ready to produce, including Netflix, Apple, Amazon, Warner Brothers are all bidding for this. This is going to star, obviously, Leonardo DiCaprio, Dwayne Johnson. Was it Margot Robbie?
Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt, that's who it is. So Emily Blunt's starring in this as well. So those three are the main characters of the film. Dwayne Johnson, Leo DiCaprio, Emily Blunt. I think that a lot of people are making memes about The Rock being in a Martin Scorsese film, but I guarantee The Punching Machine, which is going to come out this year, is going to blow people's hair back. So I'm sure he's phenomenal in that. Emily Blunt's in that as well, so it's going to be interesting to see them back-to-back movies together. But the bidding war is up right now. Netflix, Apple, Amazon, Warner Brothers. It's believed that a streamer will probably get the rights to produce the movie because they have a lot of money, and they usually are able to offer the most for these stuff.
Pretty sure Scorsese knows how to cast a movie.
He does. Exactly. People are like, Dwayne Johnson and Scorsese movie.
I think it's great news.
He knows what he's doing.
And again, so this is not technically his next film. It's being pitched. Devil in the White City seems most likely to be the next film he shoots.
Gotcha.
They're trying to see if they can get the budget they want.
You know they will.
Yeah. And Emily Blunt and Dwayne, I think, have become a new great pair in Hollywood. They did that Jungle Cruise movie for Disney, and since then, so now working on The Punching Machine as well, she's in it, and then they're both going to produce this film if they do get it greenlit by a studio. So I think they're a great pair together. They feed off each other really well. And next up, speaking of Leonardo DiCaprio, he has a really insane slate of films coming up in development. Let's take a moment and break these down. So first up, we have Paul Thomas Anderson's upcoming film, One Battle After Another, with Regina Hall. Then Damon Chazelle's next film, which will be an untitled Evel Knievel biopic, which begins filming this summer, apparently. And then also the untitled Frank Sinatra biopic with Jennifer Lawrence from Martin Scorsese. Then The Wager, an adaptation of that great novel from director Martin Scorsese. Devil in the White City, which we just mentioned with Scorsese. And then the untitled Hawaiian drama with Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt. So, again, just keep working with Scorsese. He knows what he's doing.
Let's talk about Dune 3. We finally have some real news. And this begins filming this summer. In June, they're aiming for, they're deep in pre-production right now. You know, Denis wanted to make this before going on. He's like, I got to go back to the desert, make the fans happy, basically. Give it to them. Give them what they want.
Make James happy.
Now, this is going to be kind of a spoiler for anyone who doesn't know anything about Dune Messiah, the second book in the Dune franchise. It's not a spoiler because you'll find out eventually. But if you don't want to hear this bit of news, then maybe fast forward at 30 seconds.
Go to the next chapter.
Yeah, but this will be something that everyone knows. Spoilers, Jason Momoa is going to return as Duncan Idaho in Dune Messiah. And I can tell you, he's going to have a huge role in the movie, even more screen time than the first film. He's a massive character in the second book. He really is. And if you've read the book, you understand why Duncan Idaho is back, how he's back. He dies in the first film. But this is Dune World, baby. Lots of cool tech.
So I've never read the second book, so...
you didn't know this?
This was shocking to me.
Oh, dude, yeah.
This was news. You got to explain it to me. I mean, can you break it down in 30 seconds or no?
Well, if anyone's still listening, I can explain it to you, but I mean... I'll
No
tell you after. I don't
spoilers
want
for
to spoil
the
for people
show.
who want to find it on their own if they want to read the book or...
Yeah, good point. Tell me later.
But this is stuff. It's not a spoiler because you're going to learn about it. It's all over the internet.
And
It's
Momoa
going to be in the
confirmed it.
trailer.
Momoa,
Yeah. So he's coming back as Duncan Idaho. If you want to find out how, just Google it and I'll explain to you after we record.
I was not expecting that, honestly, when I read that this morning.
That's one of the reasons why I was so excited for Dune 3 to get made soon.
Holy smokes.
I've just been waiting
like
for
a major piece in the story.
Major, huge part.
Is he plays a sandworm?
Yeah, he is. He
comes back as
Shai Hulud. It's just Duncan Idaho's face.
All right, we have news about the next Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film from Paramount Pictures, which is confirmed last year that it would be a live-action adaptation. Paramount Pictures confirmed also that it's been greenlit. Walter Hamada will be producing the film. He was the former Warner Brothers head who left the company last year. And this apparently will be a hard R-rated adaptation of The Last Ronin. That's all we have for now. I'm looking forward to it. I would like to see them, we were talking about it earlier, stray away from CGI turtles, and I think they can make some really great-looking animatronic suits.
Especially if you're going hard R, imagine blood pouring onto practical suits and practical turtles. That'd be sick.
I feel like animatronics and puppetry is advanced enough where they could figure out how to get the faces and the bodies to look right. I would rather see that. They did it CGI I never liked it. Let's go live action, just like back in the day, just like in the 90s when it was great. I think that fans will respond really well to that. And if they do just another CGI version of the Turtles, they'll get the same results.
I think that's what they're going to do, though. They're going to go Sonic route. They're going to go Hulk and Avengers route, which is fine. If they do it carefully and, really work at it and make great motion capture, then it can work fine.
Sure.
But
be cool if they did live action.
It would be pretty cool.
It would be pretty cool.
So the BAFTAs were last week. Pretty big awards. Conclave won Best Film. Didn't see that coming.
Nope.
The Brutalist won Best Director for Brady Corbet. Adrian Brody won Best Actor. Mikey Madison wins Best Actress. David Johnson from Alien Romulus won Rising Star Award, which is such cool news. Cannot wait to see his career going forward. Emilia Perez won Best Film, not in English language. Dune won Best Visual Effects. It got something. Something.
We gave it visual effects, too.
But the Academy Awards are coming up very soon, March 2nd. And we also got news, staying on topic, that Carla Sofia Gasson is reportedly planning to attend the Academy Awards next week. So that will be a major talking point, probably not during the live broadcast.
I wonder where they'll seat her. Where's the seat going to be?
Probably with everyone else.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting, but
this is
they didn't resend their invitation.
Yeah.
It's just Netflix isn't paying for Carla's
promotions.
everything.
Yeah. This is actually pretty surprising. Conclave winning Best Picture. That gives it some juice going into the Oscars. And then also Mikey Madison winning Best Actress over Demi Moore. That's giving her a lot of sway. Maybe she might take away the Oscar come next week.
Their odds are pretty close. They're both like 50-50. I put my money on Mikey.
I would put my money. I'd say Mikey deserves it.
She's so good.
Yeah,
I was watching a couple of clips of Honora the other day. I'm like, fuck, she's good in that movie.
She really disappears. She really disappears, and she felt like a different person. You know what I mean? I think it's a great role. All right, let's break down. The Last of Us Season 2 dropped 3 new posters for their major characters, and this is going to be premiering on HBO Max April 13th. So coming up, guys.
These posters are great.
I think they're really cool. It's character posters of the 3 leads: Joel, Abby,
Ellie. Anthony's like, look. Do you want me to break this down, Anthony?
Yeah, go for it.
The way Anthony's looking at me.
I was like, what is their name?
Well, first of all, I think the first season was great. Obviously, I wish they would have extended it longer because we really only got 6 episodes for the first game. But now we're getting 3 seasons for game 2. Make that make sense? I don't know.
3 seasons? Wow.
Yeah, they're going to go to season 4 with part 2.
Wow.
Now, we got 3 posters of Abby, Joel, and Ellie. They each have their own poster. And if their posters are as good if the show's as good as the posters, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Now, each one, they're walking away from camera. It's a silhouette of them. They're back. They're slightly turned. And each one of them are walking on a main motif of their life or of the show, of the game. So Ellie is walking on top of an acoustic guitar. Joel is standing on top of his broken watch that his daughter gave him. And then Abby is walking on top of a medallion from the Fireflies. So it's really great thematic connection to each of the characters in their lives and their stories in the show, in the game.
And players of the game know the Firefly symbol is going to be huge going forward. So
yeah, a couple of others.
It's going to be really big.
I'm very excited about this.
I think these are great posters.
They are excellent.
They're fantastic. The perfect teases. And April 13th.
Yeah, maybe Anthony should probably remember who the characters are called.
I totally blanked.
You hosted a show for Sony. And
that was 2 years. That was a year and a half ago.
True.
That was a long time ago, man.
People don't forget.
I played that game in the fall of 2022.
To be fair, I'd played them both of them twice before I even got that job.
Yeah.
And you watched me play sometimes.
I know. I mean, human beings are not supposed to be aware of so many names. We can only remember so many names.
Excuses.
I make excuses. I just straight up forgot. All right. Know who I would never forget, though, is my boy, Bong Joon-ho. Director Bong has announced that his next live-action film, because he's working on an animated film as well, his next live-action film will be a horror action film set in the underground subway of Seoul. He said, quote, "That's like my life project. This is a story I've been thinking about since 2021. I think this is outstanding. He does action so well. He does social context so well. I mean, this is just going to be an amazing film, and I can't wait to see what he has. Anything he sees is he's just one of the best preeminent directors working today."
We got our first official still from Spike Lee's High and Low, starring A$AP Rocky, Jeffrey Wright, Ice Spice, and the icon himself, Denzel Washington. It's a look at A$AP and his role. It looks like he's inside of a prison and potentially an inmate. He's wearing, you can't really see his full shirt. It's just collarbone up. He's in an orange jumpsuit, looks like, as a prisoner. Can't really tell completely. That's my guess, though.
Yeah, and it looks like he's looking out a window of some kind. Either a window or it could be a glass pane divider of a visitation room.
That's what it looks like.
Not really sure, but yeah. I mean, I think that they know what they're doing, releasing his image first, getting people curious about it. All right, next up. Speaking on Odysseus earlier, to build off that, Tom Holland's production schedule for Spider-Man 4 has been affected by Odysseus, and it's been pushed back 1 week.
The Odyssey.
Did I say the
You keep
Odysseus?
saying the Odysseus.
Odyssey. It's the morning.
It's fucking 11:44.
It's still the morning. Technically, it's not even the after. It's not even noon yet. It's been pushed back just 1 week to allow Holland to film on that film. And it will begin production, Spider-Man 4, on July 31st.
No. This is just a release date, bud.
Oh, release date. My bad. I misread it.
It's just they haven't even written Spider-Man 4 fully yet. It's not even done.
It's been pushed back a week.
Yeah, it's just the release. Do you want me to take over for the rest of the show? I'm just kidding. The release date of Spider-Man 4 has been pushed back 1 week to July 31st, 2026. It's a crowded month. That's the
to avoid the Odyssey.
Probably. That's the guess. I mean, it comes out 2 weeks before that. Tom has 2 movies coming out that month.
What a fucking month.
So it didn't push the scheduling of the filming back.
It pushed back the release date. I got a little mixed up. You know,
is it morning still?
The Last of Us characters threw me off, man.
I can't wait for 15 minutes until it's noon, and then you can't use the morning as an excuse anymore.
Can you tell us about this new WB and Max thing?
So we love Warner Brothers, we love Max, but there's that ongoing joke that they constantly rebrand consistently, and Warner Brothers Discovery is rebranding their Max logo, which right now it's just Max. It's like that cool blue color, lowercase font, and now they're going to change to a combination of black and white. So they're going to change the logo again,
which goes back to
HBO.
I mean, they should have always kept it the branding like that. I think the HBO brand was always a great color and tone to stay with.
Black and white?
Because when everyone went blue, it was like you can't even differentiate between the apps.
Everything's blue.
They all look the same except for Netflix. All right, moving on to Robert Pattinson, who's doing a lot of press for Mickey 17. He said that he is shocked that his fan base is now a bunch of guys, as opposed to the old Twilight fan base, which was predominantly women. He said, it's cool. It's a new one for me. It is a bunch of guys love him.
He was on a red carpet, and someone just asked him in like a little quick interview about his fan base being how it's changed. He's like, it's like a bunch of guys now. Fuck yeah, Robert. We love you, man. Narnia news. Greta Gerwig's Narnia. According to IMAX CEO Richard Gelfond, he says he thinks there are 8 movies planned for Greta Gerwig's Narnia franchise. I believe it's 7 books in the entire
There's 7
franchise.
books?
Yeah, so I don't know how many she's going to make. I doubt she'll make all 8, but we'll see. But that's what he said. He thinks it's going to be 8 movies.
I didn't know there were that many. I thought there were like 3 Narnia books. Man, I was way off.
Super off.
All right, we got some Luca Guadagnino news and Daniel Craig news. So their film, which they were in pre-production of, Sergeant Rock, Daniel Craig has dropped out of production because of scheduling conflicts. So Luca will have to find a new leading man, but he is still on board to direct the film, which is an adaptation of a DC Studios property. And there was a really cool photo posted online of Luca wearing a DC Studios t-shirt sitting on a couch.
Apparently, Jeremy Allen White is who they're going after next.
That'd be a good pick, yeah. Big age difference. But, I mean, I never thought I would see Luca Guadagnino wearing a DC Studios t-shirt.
Hey, why not?
Yeah, no, it just says, like, a lot of surprises this week.
Buy a couple of houses with that check,
Oh, yeah. Queer didn't pay that well.
Speaking of DC, Zack Snyder and James Gunn linked up. James Gunn shared a photo of the two directors together, and the comments were as chaotic as you'd expect.
Why can't you just let them be friends, guys?
They're just buds.
People are freaking out, man.
Just
oh
friends.
My
They're
God.
They're having a good time.
The anger and the vitriol and it's like it was a war in the comments.
Nuts. But also DC's Clayface lands Speak No Evil director James Watkins. And obviously this is based on the Batman villain. And I think that's an excellent choice because I thought Speak No Evil was fantastic.
We had a great time with Speak No Evil.
Awesome movie.
I think this is a really strong choice for the film. I think this is a great pick. He did a very, very good job with that movie. All right, next up. News about Apple TV's The Gorge. The film starring Anya Taylor-Joy and Miles Teller has become the biggest premiere release for a film in Apple's history so far.
2-year history of Apple TV Plus.
That's been out for like 6 years. They drove double-digit growth in the second week and boosted new viewers by 80%, which I think is pretty unheard of for streaming releases where it just grew. And it is now the biggest premiere ever for the streamer.
Well, I mean, personally, I opted into my 3 months of Apple TV Plus free just to watch that movie.
I think that the Valentine's Day release was really smart by them.
Yeah.
With the romantic context of the film.
It was a hot movie.
It was a
good time.
Yeah.
I did a good review of it on Letterboxd Recap the other day. If you want to tune into that episode, but it's certainly a movie. It's a good time.
I've heard
I had a
people
good time.
enjoyed it. Everyone I've spoken to about it liked it.
Lots of cool moments, and they're really great together. I enjoyed. I had a good time once shut your brain off, have some popcorn.
You know what? I want to watch it. I want to watch it.
You know what? You should watch it.
I haven't seen a good
logged in on the TV, man.
Okay, maybe I will.
But that goes against your streamer policy, though. Because you don't. What a dilemma.
What if I burn it onto a DVD and then I watch it?
I'll play it and screen capture it for you, and then you can watch it on your TV in your room.
We'll figure something out.
This guy. We have some news about the Apprentice. Quite the scandal. Director Ali Abbasi allegedly aggressively groped an A-list actor at CAA's Golden Globes party. The agency demanded that Abbasi apologize to the actor, and now Abbasi's U.S. reps at CAA and Entertainment 360 have dropped him as a client. And that movie is up for some nominations and awards at the Academy
Best
Awards.
actor.
Yeah, Sebastian Stan is nominated. So pretty crazy stuff.
That's
Literally
wild.
a week before the Oscars.
Damn. Next up, Spielberg.
There's so much news this week. Holy crap.
Yeah, there's a lot. Steven Spielberg's untitled UFO movie has been delayed to June 12th, 2026.
Because according to Anthony, Tom Holland's shooting schedule is booked up.
No, everyone's clearing space for Nolan. Like, stay away from Nolan movies. They make all the money.
This is moving closer to Nolan's movie.
This film, I'm so excited for this cast. Josh O'Connor, Wyatt Russell, Emily Blunt, Coleman Domingo, Colin Firth, and Eve Hewson. Excellent actors. This is going to be really exciting.
Has Spielberg ever worked with Kurt Russell? I don't think so.
Kurt Russell?
Yeah.
No, not that I know.
I don't think
of.
so. That's cool.
Oh, he directed The Thing.
Now he's working with his son. It's pretty funny. So I'm sure a lot of y'all have been wondering what the Daniels have been up to after their big Oscar darling, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Their movie has been delayed also from its June 2026 release date, and it's still moving forward, and a new date will be announced shortly.
They did some of the Skeleton Crew episodes
Yeah.
in that time, making a little Disney cheddar in the meantime.
Disney cheddar. I think they made plenty of cheddar off everything.
Jack Quaid recently shared a behind-the-scenes look at The Boys Season 5, covered in blood, yet again. And then that's just fitting in tone with the show. Everyone's looking forward to it.
He's always covered in blood.
Yeah.
It's always fun. And he's got a new movie coming out next month, too, with Novocaine.
In March, yeah.
Man, he's killing it this year. Jack Quaid having a year. Mutiny, a new action thriller starring Jason Statham, of course, will release in January 2026 in theaters. It follows a man who is framed for the murder of his billionaire industrialist boss and must go on the run.
Interesting.
Cool.
Sounds about right for a Jason Statham movie.
Yeah.
Next up, speaking of fighting, Street Fighter, the live-action adaptation of the property, has been announced, and Kitao Sakurai is set to direct the film. This will hit theaters March 20th, 2026.
Dude, next year's going to be
In
a
a
huge
year.
year.
2026 is going to be fucking insane.
We're going to have like a $25 billion box office here.
We need it.
Krasinski, as we all know, is the current Jack Ryan at Amazon with the TV series. However, we got our first look at the film Jack Ryan starring the man himself, Jim Halpert.
Cool. Cool little photo of Jim Halpert looking out the window. Very espionage-y. It's a nice little tease. All right, next up. Paul Mescal and Josh O'Connor, their film, The History of Sound, which is a gay romance, is looking to premiere at the Cannes Film Festival this May. The film follows the relationship between two men who traveled together in the summer of 1919 to record old folk songs. Dude, sign me up. Josh and Paul singing, making love. Sounds like a good time.
Singing about making love, making out. You know who likes to make out? The Illuminati. Well, apparently, the Illuminati, who are villains, I think, in Marvel, MCU, they were supposed to be in Brave New World, but they were then teased in the post-credit scene. But I think that they're going to be in the future of the MCU going forward.
Wait, which because I didn't see the post-credit scene. Did you watched it, right?
Yeah, they just teased different worlds.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I guess that was the Illuminati with also different worlds. I don't know.
Sounds like the post-credit was confusing. I left. I left before it.
Let's talk about some trailers.
The second film from the directors of Talk to Me, Bring Her Back, just dropped its first trailer and poster. This film stars Sally Hawkins and is about a brother and sister who uncover a terrifying ritual at the secluded home of their new foster mother. Sally Hawkins obviously playing the foster mother. This is a really cool little tantalizing tease. There's some crazy stuff going on. It's got some Midsommar vibes for sure. But yeah, look, really intriguing setup.
It looks great.
Yeah.
The aesthetics are awesome. Off the charts, Michael Shannon. He's a director now. The first trailer for his directorial debut, Eric LaRue. No, Eric Lau or LaRue?
I think you said it right, LaRue.
No, it's spelled differently in our notes. I think it's
Eric
LaRue.
Mike Lowry.
Eric LaRue has been released. The film follows a mother after her teenage son murders 3 of his classmates in a school shooting. Hits theaters April 4th. Sounds similar to We Need to Talk About Kevin.
Yeah, it's like I definitely got We Need to Talk About Kevin vibes, but has a very heavy religious tone to it, the film. Religious themes. All right, next up. Naomi Watts stars in The Friend with Bill Murray, where she plays a middle-aged woman who has been kind of forced to take on the dog of her deceased best friend, who left the dog to her in his will. And she's struggling to maintain this dog while her life is like in disarray. Looks like a nice kind of getting your shit together kind of movie.
I just watched a movie with her.
With Naomi?
Yeah.
What?
I watched the Sea of Trees.
Oh, with the Gus Van Sant film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With McConaughey and Ken Watanabe as well. It's really good.
Yeah.
I watched it last night.
Good old Gus.
Yeah. Fantastic. All right, let's get into some more news. Hancock, the superhero film starring Will Smith, is apparently in development for a sequel, and the studio behind it says they're going to approach Zendaya about a role. I don't know if she knows yet, but she's finding out now.
No, it says she's been approached. Zendaya, do you want to be in Hancock too? I don't know. I mean, Hancock was pretty good, but I mean,
I like Hancock a lot, but I think Will's probably
20 years ago.
I think he's doing pretty good career rehabilitation right now.
Yes.
You know, he's going back to Hancock getting a sequel, which people liked, getting back into superhero stuff, as well as I Am Legend is officially confirmed. The script's being worked on right now. Michael B. Jordan will be in the film. So 2 pretty awesome movies in his past that are getting sequels now. You know, I think he's going to change the court of public opinion about him in the next few years.
Yeah. But again, like, it's decades later sequels. We'll see. They don't have the best track record.
I'm looking forward to I Am Legend 2.
I'm looking forward to I Am Legend
Even
2.
though they changed it so that the alternate ending is the official one, even though it's going to confuse the hell out of people.
And Will Smith confirmed that he sat down for like for a week with Michael B. Jordan to talk it over. So it's like they're both going to be in it for sure. For sure.
So they sat for an entire week, like just at a table?
No, they did a wellness retreat.
Did they?
No.
You seem to be in the know.
All right, next up. Alexander Skarsgård's next film, Murderbot series, Murderbot, just released its first image. He plays a self-hacking security robot who must hide its free will and complete a dangerous assignment while just wanting to be left alone. Just leave him alone, guys. This premieres May 16th on Apple TV. You can see a shot of him in like this white kind of battle security armor. And yeah, another robot TV show. We'll see.
Another robot TV show.
We'll see.
Okay, so Brady Corbet was just on Mark Maron's podcast, the WTF podcast, and he talked about how he has made zero money from The Brutalist. To quote him, "I've spoken to many filmmakers that have the films that are nominated this year that can't pay their rent." I mean, that's a real thing.
Yeah, I get it. You get a paycheck for The Brutalist. It had a modest budget, like $10 million, something like that. He probably got about, I would say, as the director, about $200K, something like that. And then he's
to direct.
Yeah, to direct, and he's been basically living off that for 3 years. Essentially, is what he said. I get it, and on top of that, he was talking about the press tour. It's the 6 months of press when your film's a favorite to win all these awards. You get to travel the world. You get to go to all these events. And he said he also he's had no time to work as a director for the entire press tour, 6 months of all these junkets and crazy parties and awards shows. And so I get it. I get what he's saying for sure. Because it's not like he made a Marvel movie and got a $10 million paycheck. He made a small budget movie. For a yearly salary, it's probably a lot, but he's been working on the film for 3 years, like production and post-production wise. So he had to make that good paycheck last all these years, and then on top of that, not being able to work at all for 6 months promoting the film. I get it. It's a tough situation.
Yeah, but
It's
I'm
not
sure
easy.
if he wins Best Director, and he's already won several awards,
Yeah.
he's probably going to be able to negotiate better contracts, possibly get percent gross of his future films.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's tough to hear, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think he's going to be okay.
Yeah, just
going
wait it
forward.
out. Yeah, and also like once his time frees up, he can take a couple commercial jobs. You know what I mean? Small commercial jobs, make an Apple TV ad, make an Apple ad. Damon Chazelle does that. He made some Apple ads after his second film. I'm sure they paid pretty well. So a lot of directors will make good money on those. All right, next up, we got the first look at Holland. James, tell us about this.
It stars Nicole Kidman and Matthew Macfadyen. The thriller follows a woman in a Midwestern town who suspects her husband of living a double life, but she soon unravels a twisted tale. Releases March 27th on Prime Video. Is Nicole Kidman becoming the Pedro Pascal?
Is she in everything?
Her and Pedro Pascal are in everything.
Has Nicole Kidman ever taken a day off?
I don't think
feel
so.
like she's in like 10 projects a year.
Yeah, no, it's
TV
nuts.
and film. It feels like she's always in everything. All right, next up, Godzilla X Kong.
She ain't having trouble paying her rent.
no, she's good. She's good. Godzilla X Kong. The franchise is moving forward, although it's going to have a new director. I don't think that's been announced yet. Maybe. No announcement for a director yet. However, we got 2 new lead actors. Jack O'Connell, the talented Irish actor, and then Delroy Lindo, the veteran actor, have been cast in this film. We got the director here. Grant Sputore, who directed I Am Mother, is directing this installment of the MonsterVerse movie franchise. Let me check this out. I Am Mother. Have you ever heard of this film?
I think so. I think I've heard of it.
This is a Hilary Swank sci-fi film from 2019.
Oh, it's the robot one.
Oh, I remember the trailers for this. I remember the robot like taking care of a baby or something. Yeah. Okay, I remember this. I never saw it though.
Me neither.
Was that Britt Robertson? Yeah.
Let's talk about Dope Thief. We got the first trailer for it, TV series, starring Brian Tyree Henry and Wagner Moura. It follows 2 men who pose as DEA agents and rob a house that is a major cover for a large narcotics operation. Ridley Scott directed the pilot episode. It releases March 14th on Apple TV+.
Looks really good.
It does.
Looks like a great crime drama. All right, next up. Mahershala Ali, 2-time Oscar winner, will star in Bassam Tariq's new film, Your Mother, Your Mother, Your Mother, Your Mother, for Amazon. Bassam Tariq was originally set to direct Blade with Mahershala Ali, but left that project. Now the two are collaborating on this new film. So it looks like Mahershala liked him for Blade, but I guess we know that wasn't the issue for him dropping out. They were like, let's go do something else, bro.
I know, right?
Let's go do
It's
something
kinda
else.
cool.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Next up, Nowhere Fast. Chris Pine will star in a new crime thriller called Nowhere Fast with Noah Hawley set to direct. The film follows a small-town criminal in Texas who inadvertently kills the nephew of his boss. Damn.
Dun, dun,
Pretty
dun.
messed up, man. Why would you do that, Chris Pine?
Next up, John Malkovich confirmed he is in the new Fantastic Four and confirmed that he has a pretty significant role in the film. He said he didn't love the process, but it paid well.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the quote
Yeah.
right now. I'm Googling it right now because I read it yesterday morning. It was pretty funny. It didn't it didn't say bring up a lot of positivity about the Fantastic Four itself. He said something, I can't find it. He said something about, he said it was an experience. He said it's basically just 18 giant screens and a bunch of cranes for filming.
Yeah.
And he said, we'll see. So I heard that quote. I'm like, oh man, I hope this is
He
a good
basically
movie.
said he took it for the money too. He said he never did superhero movies because they didn't pay enough, and he's like, I don't want to be hanging from cranes for 6 months if you're not gonna pay me. So I'm sure it seems like he did it for the money. I get it, man. I get it, John Malkovich. I'd do the same thing. All right, we got some exciting news for a physical media release. Constantine, John Constantine, asshole, has now been released on 4K Ultra HD for the film's 20th anniversary, and I feel old.
Right? I might have to get
gonna
that.
get that,
I have to
yeah.
cop that, man. All right, we got some cool news. Joseph Kosinski, whose F1's coming out pretty soon. They also just released a new teaser with some BTS mixed in at the same time.
Oh, cool.
It's awesome. You gotta watch it. It's like 2.5 minutes long.
Of like them breaking down behind on set?
No, yeah, it's just
Interviews?
Yeah, kind of. It's just like BTS stuff and then the actual trailer, just cross-cutting.
Gotcha.
Some BTS stuff, but yeah, basically. But it looks so cool. It's like Kosinski's like, I want camera here, camera here, camera here, camera here, camera here. Like 7 cameras, 7 IMAX digital cameras on an F1 car. So
How many
cool.
cameras do you want? Yes.
Yes. But he's also developing a new thriller that with Jerry Bruckheimer, who is producing F1, they're igniting a bidding war for their next movie. It's a UFO conspiracy thriller. It's described as All the President's Men, but with UFOs. That sounds awesome because that movie's great. If you've never seen it, check it out. David Grush will serve as a consultant on the film. The former Air Force officer testified before Congress in 2023 that the government has studied UFOs and bodies of aliens.
What the fuck?
Studios are battling over the pricey package from the duo behind Top Gun Maverick and this summer's F1.
Sign me up. I gotta check out this guy's congressional hearing.
Was he on? I'm trying to remember if he's been on any podcasts.
I don't think so. I don't think
David
he's
Grush.
been. David Grush.
If he's been on a podcast, I gotta tune in.
Yeah, I want to check out this story, man.
That's nuts.
All right. I doubt he's lying.
Yep, he's been on Rogan.
Okay, gotta check this out.
I gotta listen to that.
All right, next up, A24 has 2 classic releases of theirs coming out in IMAX this year. Moonlight will be dropping on IMAX on February 27th, and Spring Breakers will be dropping in IMAX on March 19th.
Our birthday!
Our birthday! Happy birthday!
Let's go!
They did it for us.
The day before spring too.
And
So
yeah. So tickets for these films go on sale soon. So keep your eye out. I would like to see Moonlight in IMAX. That'd be pretty cool.
yeah, it's a beautiful looking movie.
Pretty awesome.
Elden Ring, the very popular video game, according to George R.R. Martin, he's in early talks with another team making an Elden Ring movie.
Cool.
Pretty
I'm
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
I've never played it, but it looks really cool.
Yeah, it does.
I love fantasy.
Yeah.
Our final bit of news. Some Owen Wilson news.
Medieval fantasy.
Medieval fantasy with monsters and demons, I think.
Dragons, maybe.
Castles.
I can't remember.
We got the first look at Stick, which is a new comedy series starring Owen Wilson, Judy Greer, Timothy Olyphant, and Mark Maron. This series follows a former pro golfer facing divorce and unemployment who trains a young, gifted golfer. This premieres tons of Apple TV this week. June 4th on Apple TV, you can see some shots of Owen Wilson in the cast on like golf courses, and he looks like a golfer.
Kind of, yeah.
He looks like he passes as a golfer.
He gives that vibe off.
Yeah, he gives that vibe for sure.
Yeah, the thing with Apple TV, after I've never had it before until I got my free subscription. I have 3 months free, so I'm gonna see how it is. They don't have a huge catalog of their own stuff.
Yeah.
You know, they have I feel like there are 20 movies that they've made. That's it. And their TV shows, they have same amount. Of course, on Apple TV, it's the same like Amazon. You can rent movies, but they don't have a ton of original content, so it seems like they're just going to be beefing it up over the next couple of years.
Yeah, that's why I never got Apple, because I've looked at it, and I think I did the free sample thing too. And I was just like, there's really nothing that much to watch.
I was scrolling, I'm like, if I knew I was going to watch The Gorge, but I was curious. I browsed, I'm like, I wouldn't really watch most of these movies.
And on top of that, it's not like Prime or Netflix where they just have free movies to watch. You have to rent everything that's there. That's not their own.
Yes, they don't get licensing rights.
Yeah, so you have to rent everything on that.
Yeah.
Just like the iTunes store.
Yeah, so they only have their own. You can only watch for free if you have Apple TV plus their original content. Everything else you have to rent.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, in 10 years they're gonna have a ton of stuff in their library for sure.
The one thing I don't like about Apple TV Plus, I understand they're building their catalog, is it looks like they use YouTube thumbnails as a trajectory of how to design their posters and art for their movies, because they all just sort of look the same, like the empty space YouTube image. Mm-hmm. All their posters for all their movies, it looks like they're all the same, like the same design, if that makes sense.
Sure. Let me look at this.
They all look the same. They don't have anything unique going on besides their title, and it's just like empty space. Like the Gorge posters are so vanilla.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
They're so vanilla, the Gorge posters. But all of their posters are kind of very
But that's what people click on.
On YouTube. You're already on the app. So all I'm saying is they all look the same. They don't look like they have their own identity, the movies. They just have different stars.
I get that. Yeah.
You know?
I mean, the thumbnails for every streamer, they lack any creativity anymore.
Amazon Prime's fine.
Amazon Prime?
They use the movie posters poster.
Do they?
I'm just talking about Amazon.
Yeah. You're talking about
Amazon's self-made content, self-produced content.
Yeah.
For the most part, their posters, it looks like YouTube thumbnails.
I get that, yeah. It doesn't look very interesting at all. You're right.
Just very vanilla. Very corporate.
It is.
It's very corporate.
Corporation.
It's Lumon.
But Severance is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I watched the 6th episode last night. It was great.
No, man.
You gotta get on Severance now that you have it.
I know. I'll get on it eventually.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's getting really good.
Well, now I have 3 months to watch it.
Adam Scott, he's fantastic in it.
Yeah.
He's acting up a storm.
How's that fake wonder of him running around? It's in the first episode, right?
First episode. It looks great.
Yeah.
It looks awesome.
That looks cool.
I don't think is it a wonder?
No, it's a fake wonder.
No. I'm trying to think. Is it even a fake wonder? I don't remember it being a wonder.
I saw some BTS stuff, and I read that it took 3 months to film.
No, it took 3 months to film, but I don't think it's a wonder.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but there are long takes in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps extremely busy movie
big.
news. That was a lot of stuff to talk about.
You're gonna have to trouble picking out what to put in the thumbnail design. Speaking of thumbnail designs,
Well, it's gonna be
I don't
Bond
think there's
and-
anyone
Bond and
better.
Matt.
There's no one better in the game than this guy right
shucks.
here.
Oh, shucks.
Making all these great thumbnails.
Oh man.
Your movie news thumbnails are always chef's kiss.
I mean, I'm gonna go with James Bond, Matt Damon, maybe Dwayne with Scorsese.
that's not bad.
I
Yeah,
mean,
like
maybe
that.
maybe Duncan, Idaho.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I think I'll be okay.
Yeah.
I'll figure some stuff. I always do, man.
He always does.
That's always the toughest part. Is like I sit there for like a couple minutes. I'm like, what do I go with?
a couple minutes.
What do I lead with? And then I start to build it. But
And-
it's like an hour process.
And I'm like, I wonder what he's gonna do. I wonder what he's gonna come up with that little creative juices going on in there.
All right, let's wrap this up. Thanks so much again for tuning into Movie News. Like always, episodes coming up. We have on Monday, we're going to do the biggest controversies and biggest snubs at the Academy Awards history. Of course, we're going to talk about the slap, but there's so many other controversies that you may have forgotten about, plus the biggest snubs of all time, including Denis Villeneuve this year at the Academy Awards. And after that, on Wednesday, this upcoming week, we're going to do our horror breakdown of the best horror movies, or just the state of horror for 2025, all the horror movies that have come out so far, because we've seen them all, except for The Monkey we'll be seeing probably tomorrow night or something. That'll be a lot of fun, because I love talking about horror. It's been a pretty good year so far. I think Companion takes the cake right now for best horror. But thank you for tuning in. Become a patron today at patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost Podcast. Subscribe on YouTube. Leave those 5-star ratings and reviews on Spotify and Apple. And take care, everybody.
See you next time.